So I spend most of my time in business generating leads, generating awareness for other businesses. But where a lot of my clients fall short and where a lot of the people I talk to and teach fall short is once you generate that awareness, then what? There's only so much that you have control over. And if you're missing one key piece of that journey, they're gone and you might never see them again. So the awareness piece loses its value. With that being said, there's a lot that he needs to be correct, needs to be right, needs to be aligned in order to go from awareness, someone just learning about you for the first time, all the way into someone who's purchasing and making that buying decision. So somewhere along the line, they're going to hit your website and your landing page. And if that's not optimized to convert that lead, you're going to lose them forever. So in this episode, I've got a good friend, Sam Dunning. He's the host of the Top 10 B2B Marketing Podcast, Business Growth Show. And he is an expert on exactly what I just spoke about, converting that awareness into leads through optimizing your B2B website. Sam, I'm super excited to have you on the show. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, Jay. Yeah, cheers for having me, man. Looking forward to the conversation and getting stuck in.
Yeah, same here. And like I said, I spend a lot of my day generating awareness and building landing pages, building websites. And this is where a lot of people fall short. So I think people are going to get a ton of value out of what you have to teach today about elements of a B2B website that are needed to generate those leads. So Sam, let's start there. What should B2B companies think about when they're building their websites and building their funnels?
Sure thing. So there's a lot to unpack, and it might be best that we start with kind of one of the biggest mistakes when it comes to B2B website design, build, whether that's a landing page, whether that's a home page, whether that's your full site. And there are plenty of mistakes we can dive into.
What are the biggest mistakes that new entrepreneurs, new business owners make when they're building their website or their landing pages for the first time?
Yeah, I'll share a couple and then we can dive into how to address those and fix those. Perfect. So one of the biggest ones I see, Jay, is that B2B companies, whether they're new startups or established, they design, build, craft out their content, their messaging, their copy and more to please themselves, to either stroke their ego, shout about how great they are, talk about how many awards they've won, how many G2 accreditations they've got, how brilliant their new SaaS product or feature is, when really you need to take a step back and realize that you've probably got a warehouse full of your software, your service, your product, or your goods. You're not the one buying your offer. So you need to take a step back and realize this is actually needs to be built for my dream client, my target prospects, the potential clients that are going to be talking to sales or buying our stuff. So quite often where websites miss a trick is that they don't do proper research. And what I mean by that is understanding exactly who this site needs to be for. So who is this target market? I.e., are you targeting, I don't know, people in the engineering sector, and it's maybe to VP marketing only or VP level. And then what you need to actually understand is, what do these people care about, right? Because most of the time when people come onto the website, especially the homepage or a landing page, they're time sensitive. They don't have a ton of time to try and work out what you do, how it's going to help them, problems you're going to resolve, check out some results and book a time with sales, right? So that's why a lot of the time research is neglected, which kind of makes sense for startups because they want to throw up maybe an MVP, a simple website initially, which I understand. But when it gets to the time where you're driving traffic to that website, be it via SEO, be it via paid ads, be it via podcast, email list, whatever channel you like, you need to make sure that that website is actually going to resonate. And resonate is the key word here, because if it doesn't resonate with those target clients, especially in kind of higher ticket B2B sales, it's just not going to drive and convert a steady flow of qualified sales meetings to your team. So research, really understanding, taking the time to interview kind of target prospects and understanding what their key goals are, the key problems they face, the main frustrations, the impacts those problems are having on your business. What are their jobs to be done? What are the main things they want to get out of an offer or product or service like yours? What are the main things they care about seeing on a website like yours in your sector? And that will really unpack how you should build out your messaging, your copy, your headlines, your content, and structuring key pages. So that's one of the first fundamental things that a lot of websites neglect is solid research and realizing that their website isn't for their CEO, it's not for the marketing team, it's for your target buyer.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I see that too. I've been guilty of it as a young entrepreneur, just fluffing up my business, leading with all my awards and how awesome we are. People forget that that's not necessarily what the target audience needs to see. Now, doing all the research, asking all the questions, figuring out what the pain points are, sounds really easy in practice. And then you're really just taking, I guess, your best guess, your most educated guess at what copy is going to work, and then testing that copy. Is what is your creative process when you're going from interviewing your target avatar for who you want to attract to implementing copy as your headline and your bullet points, and then testing that copy? How do you get to optimized copy?
Sure thing, man. And there's, without making this a focused customer research kind of discussion, but
Right.
usually I've on my podcast, I'm sure you've done the same. I've interviewed a bunch of specialists that specifically niche down in research, and usually they say around 12 to 13 interviews, you start to get repetition of problems people are
Mhm.
facing, their goals, their motivations, that kind of stuff. So basically, the golden nuggets you want to take from your research is, when do you start hearing the same kind of answers? So when do people keep saying, like, this is my main problem, this is my main issue, this is my frustration, this is the goal, this is the outcome I want, this is what I care about seeing. So you're looking for repetition. You make a note of those common things said during your interviews. You make a list of those, and that's where you know the wording, the language, the key goals, motivations, and problems to leverage on your website copy. So if we jump into actually putting that into play, kind of getting a bit more tactical. So if we start with a homepage, like I alluded to earlier, essentially, if someone's flicking on your homepage, you've usually got a few seconds to capture their attention. There's something we like to run called the grunt test. And that is basically, could a caveman sitting in his cave, you've just shoved a laptop in front of him, could he within a few seconds fire up his laptop, go on your homepage and grunt what you do, how it helps them, and how to take the next step, whether that's book a call, book a consult request, whatever. If not, if it takes kind of more than 3-5 seconds, then your website's hitting the mark, and a prospect may potentially get frustrated and bounce off to a competitor. So homepage headline, like I say, so many times they say we're award winning, or in SaaS they might say we're a 360-degree integrated, all-in-one, futuristic 10x revenue platform, and you're like, what the bloody hell do you
What
do?
the
I
hell
have
do you
no
do?
clue what. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, there's a few frameworks you can do for a homepage headline. You can go super crisp and clear, like we do X that improves Y. So we do this that improves result. You can pick a problem. So maybe in the proposal space, are you frustrated of sending PDFs back and forth and taking ages to get signatures? Our platform enables you to, in one click, share proposals with decision makers and get feedback instantly. So you can work out that juicy problem and put that in your headline. You can pick an enemy. So in our case, maybe in the SEO world, are you tired of kind of SEO agencies promising the earth and delivering zero? We only
Right.
work with a select few clients with problems we can fix. So there's various ways you can do it, but you've got to think about what are the outcomes that you want prospects to clearly get a quick idea of what you do, how you help. And then, of course, above the fold, before someone scrolls, you want to have that clear call to action to either, I don't know, book a call, request a demo, whatever that next step is for your business. So that's kind of a few things. And then
I
naturally,
think that's a
as someone,
really good framework. Call out the
there,
problem, call out exactly what you do, keep it really simple for the audience, for who's visiting that website. And I think that's good advice all across marketing, right? In your paid ads, in your cold email copy, you want it to be simple. If people are spending too much time trying to decipher what you're trying to say, they're gone. They barely know you. You're not worth their time and mental investment at that point. So awesome, Sam. Without spending too much time on copy, I think that was a really good framework. Let's talk about websites versus funnels. We had this huge rise of funnel hacking of Russell Brunson. Websites are dead. Sam, are websites dead? Does everybody need a funnel now? Walk me through your thought process.
yeah, no one needs a website. Just send someone to your email list, and then hopefully they'll buy. Man, like, who cares? The truth is, it depends on what you're doing. Because like you said, in the terms of funnels, and I'm not necessarily a funnel expert, my game is more website design and build and SEO for B2B companies rather than kind of pure funnels. But with that said, I think there's a few ways to think about it. And a comparison that I kind of did a LinkedIn post about recently is whether you're getting what's called cold traffic to your site or whether you're getting like warm traffic. So cold traffic could be, I don't know, perhaps someone stumbled upon your podcast or your YouTube or just seen you for the first time on an ad. Maybe that's Facebook, Google, somewhere else. So they're not necessarily familiar with yourself, your company, your brand just yet. And then they flick to your website. That's when your website needs to work flipping hard to clearly do those things we just talked about, convey the problem you fix, how you help. It's got to show some proof of results. So that could be client review videos, testimonials, accreditations, and all that good stuff. Probably needs to qualify the prospect in or out, whether that's sharing pricing, processes, who you can and can't help. Probably want to answer some of their key questions. Maybe that's around integration, timeframes, how long it takes, do I get an account manager, all that good stuff. And then on the basis you check all those boxes, they may convert and book a call, or you might have to retarget them further or nurture them. So maybe they'll continue to check out your YouTube, your podcast, sign up to your email list, download a lead magnet, whatever. Or you retarget them with things like LinkedIn ads. And then eventually they'll hop back to your website and book a call when they're ready. So that's colder traffic. But then you've got warmer traffic. And that could be someone that's been following you for a long time on LinkedIn, podcast, YouTube, whatever. They're very familiar with you. They trust you because they've seen your content. You've given them content. You've given them actionable tips. You've given them walkthroughs. They believe you're someone that can help you. In that case, your website's more of a demand capture mechanism. So in that case, unless your website looks like a potato, is awful, takes about 20 seconds to load, is unclear, is difficult to navigate, they're probably just going to click to your homepage, maybe quickly check some testimonials, probably check your price that they can afford you, and then they're going to schedule a call super quick. So there's, like you can see, there's a massive comparison in those two different types of visitors. So I'm happy to dive in either way on those, and I'm also happy to share kind of some of those key pages I think are important in B2B sites.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do that. I'd love to share with you kind of how we use websites and funnels. It might be helpful for the audience as well, because we use both. And I agree with you. I think everybody should consider using both for different use cases, right? The website is typically a little more bulky. It's got more options. You've got a navigation bar in the top with a pricing page, an about us page, a testimonials page. You've got multiple calls to action on there. And you're not necessarily directing that end user along a specific path. You're letting them see what it is that you do, see what it is that you offer, and navigate their own journey. And typically, at least ours does, our website loads quite a bit slower than our landing pages do by design, right? There's videos, there's complicated design versus our landing pages. There's one call to action. The buttons on the page do one thing to get them to take a very specific action, which is either opt in, give us your info, book a call. Whereas our website, they can click all through the pricing page, they can pay for something, they can fill out a contact form, not on our landing pages. The landing pages also tend to be a little bit easier for us to split test, to run A/B comparisons of one another. So if I'm, for example, giving away a lead magnet, I'll send them to a landing page that will build either on Go High Level or ClickFunnels. And I'll change the headlines every week or so just to try and get them to opt in at a higher rate. So we use both, right? And when someone looks up Otter PR, which is our PR agency, on Google, we want them to hit our website and we want them to be like, damn, this is a great website. This is an expensive website. Here's everything I need to know about this company. Versus in my YouTube videos, when I'm saying, click on the link down in the description, that link's not going to our homepage. That link is going to a very specific landing page with a very specific use case. So I don't know if you have any constructive feedback on that, or if that's a model that you tend to agree with. What do you think?
I think it often depends on your model, and I guess where someone is seeing your content. So like you said, if it is a YouTube video and you're maybe talking about a specific subject, and then you're saying, like, if you want to learn more on this subject, check out the landing page below, and there they can maybe watch a webinar, get an ebook, follow an email series, then that makes complete sense. Whereas I would push back a little bit. I'd say
Please.
That will work great for some prospects. I think people that are perhaps not mature in the B2B marketing space, maybe people that are perhaps a little bit newer or learning a subject, Whereas when you're working with larger scale organizations in B2B tech or service, they'll typically have their own marketing setup. They'll have VPs of marketing, marketing managers, demand generation managers. They'll have 10, 15 plus just on their marketing team alone. That's when it gets a bit more savvy. And that's where a landing page could be okay. But typically, these prospects aren't going to go onto a site and convert or download a guide straight away. They're going to be having various meetings. They're going to be talking on dark socials, so things like Slack groups, communities, messaging each other.
Right.
So that's when they're going to take their time to really go through the website at their own pleasure, browse around, then maybe check out your podcast, then maybe check out your email series, then maybe check out your YouTube channel, then flick back to your website, check out your pricing, check out some of your case studies, maybe talk to some of your clients, and eventually schedule a call. And they're probably quite the way down the buying journey at that time. So like with many things, it's quite nuanced depending on the target type of companies that you're targeting and who you actually want to do business with, right? It depends on their buying habits and what they're going to do on your website or landing page.
Agreed. And I think most of marketing is nuanced, but I think what does apply to a lot of businesses is they need a core website with defined elements and pages. I don't see that many exceptions to that rule. Companies should have a website, should have a pricing page, an about us page. Sam, what are the elements that B2B companies should have on their website? Is there any best practices to share?
Yeah, so I'll share some recommendations. So from my experience, I mean, just like yourself, on my podcast, Business Growth Show, we've interviewed 300 plus execs from revenue leaders to marketers. And it's given me a bit of a grasp as to what they actually care about seeing when it comes to a B2B site. And usually they want to jump on your site, get a quick idea of what we talked about earlier, what you do, problem you fix, how you help. Then they want to get an idea of if they can actually probably afford your offer. So pricing page, and we can jump into kind of how to construct that in a sec, to check they can afford your tool, widget, solution, service. Then they want to check those proof of results, like we talked about, testimonials, video reviews, G2 accreditations, Trustera accreditations, etc. They want to get some of their key questions answered around how long it takes to set up, strategy, processes, etc. And then they want to easily book a call to schedule time on your calendar with Calendly or Chili Piper or whatever. So if we dive into some of those pages, let's bust a few myths while we're at it as well. So we've talked about homepage a bit. Let's jump into pricing page. So pricing is such a controversial thing in B2B. SaaS companies, so many SaaS companies will share their price, right? Because quite often on low market SaaS, it could be $10, $20, $30 a month, which is fine, makes sense. But when it comes
we go back and forth on this all the time in our company, whether we should disclose our pricing on the website or not. Because to be frank, it's not cheap. Our average package is $6,000 per month. Most PR companies don't put their price on their website. So we've argued we should take it down multiple times. Like, let them not know, let them book a call, then we'll address the pricing concern. Talk to me about the myth of putting the pricing on the website. But I had to just share our experience with this because I'm very excited to know your answer.
In my opinion, there's no question you should always share your pricing. And the pushback that I get is often from B2B, more so from the service companies or higher ticket software companies. And they basically will say, well, I can't share my pricing, Sam. One, because we're going to get less leads through the website. Yes. Two, because everything we do is bespoke or tailored. So we need to have a sales conversation first. Or third, because it's going to affect sales and our reps don't like it and they want to do a discovery call first. So I would say, look, I probably like yourself, Jay, when you're growing your company, I run a lot of the sales conversations that come in, as do my team. And it annoyed me when we hid pricing on our own sites because I'd speak to prospects quite often, do a discovery call for 20 minutes or so, and then realize that even if they wanted to and they were motivated to get the job done and work with us and had problems we fixed, they still couldn't afford our offer. It just doesn't make sense wasting all that time. So if you're a service-based company that does offer bespoke pricing, then why not put a range? I.e., this type of offer is from 3 to 5K. This mid-tier offer is from 5 to 7, or higher level from 7K plus. That way you've got levels. But the good thing about a pricing page is if you do display it, you'll find it's one of the most visited pages on your site. There's a number of things you can do on that. So as well as putting those tiers, then you can put some relevant social proof, so some client testimonial videos, recommendations, and so on. You can address common objections around pricing with FAQs, like a nice little FAQ section, like, why are you guys so expensive? So for example, on my SEO pages on pricing, I put, isn't it fast to invest in SEO in Google Ads? And I'll say, yes, it is. But SEO is an evergreen way to show up in organic results, build trust, reduce your cost per click, etc. I'll literally say, why are you so expensive compared to other agencies? And I'll kind of give a breakdown of our approach and so on. So literally all the questions that I get asked on sales calls around pricing, I address head on that pricing page and suggest that companies do the same. So not only is it good to qualify in good fit sales calls, but also gives you a chance to back up your claims and handle objections directly on the page, therefore giving you more qualified inbound leads as opposed to just conversations with tire kickers.
That makes a lot of sense. Definitely, based on what you just said, I'm going to add some elements to our pricing page. And it definitely, I guess, makes me feel safer and more secure in our decision to leave our pricing up on our website, counter to what our competitors are doing. So that's very helpful. Sam, any other myths that exist about B2B websites that you can think of?
There's probably a bunch. I mean, the biggest one, like I said at the start, is the ego. Just building your website around what you think looks good, what you think is going to work, rather than actually constantly getting that I mean, your website is an ongoing living thing. And something I quite often say is it's live 24/7, right? And unlike any sales rep, it's serving or getting in front of those prospects around the clock, night and day. And it can quite literally be your very best salesperson, or if you neglect it in terms of everything we've talked about and you don't market it effectively, it can be your worst salesperson. So I suppose another issue with websites is that people set and forget them. So maybe they spend 10, 20, 30, 40 grand on an almighty design and build, which is awesome, all singing, all dancing website, really built on rock solid customer research, has all these key pages, it's designed, it looks amazing, but then they don't invest the cash or resource in marketing it in front of those ideal clients.
Right.
So taking the time to understand where your target prospects hang out. Are they using Google search? Is your offer, is your service in a category that's well known? Are people actually searching on Google for it? Because if not every category, if you're in a new market or perhaps a more unknown market, it might not be worth doing marketing on Google, whether that's SEO or paid search. Whereas if you are in an established, well-known category, SEO and paid search makes sense. So in that rare case that you're not, then you want to work out, where does that target audience hang out? Are they consuming YouTube videos? Are they listening to podcasts? Are they more into email? Are they in certain communities? So it's a lot of getting your website right is not only building it and crafting it right, but actually making sure it's marketed effectively on the target channels that your dream clients are using day in, day out, so you can actually get those visits there that are going to convert into those sales conversations.
Yeah, great point. Now, Sam, you specialize in B2B websites and B2B SEO. Do you believe that every B2B website needs a blog? And if so, what tech stack are you typically recommending or using to get that website and blog to rank on Google?
Yeah, sure. So again, it depends what you want to get out of the blog. And most people are probably going to build a blog because they want the article pages to rank on Google.
Right.
So this is another thing that I go against. In fact, a big issue I see, Jay, is that companies throw out a website and then start writing a ton of articles, but there's no strategy. And yeah, I mean, in terms of tech stack, the most commonly used website platform is WordPress. It powers like a huge chunk of the web. It's got so many versions, and it's easy to customize, as you probably know, and it's very scalable. But we build sites on WordPress, HubSpot, Webflow. It varies depending on the need. Now, a big issue I see is quite often that companies want their website to rank, but then they'll start building blog articles with no clear directional focus. So they might be, I don't know, a company providing, let's say, CRM for accountancies, but they're trying to rank, they're building out articles like the top 10 things to consider before hiring an accountant, or 5 big mistakes to avoid in your accountancy practice. And yes, those are okay for top of the funnel questions that your prospects might be searching for. But are they really going to drive qualified sales meetings or bookings? Probably not. There is a play that you could do with that, i.e. you could rank for that question search term, build a killer article that answers all those points, and then they might download your lead magnet or subscribe to your email list or check out your podcast. But it's not going to drive sales calls. I mean, you could nurture them over time and they might eventually become a customer, sure. But you want to start with what I call bottom of the funnel. So prospects that are ready to have a sales conversation now or very soon. So if you were in a niche CRM space, i.e. CRM for accountants, you want to rank for best CRM for accountancy practices or best CRM for finance companies, or all these terms that your target client is searching for when they have high intent to speak to sales. And that is not a blog article. That is a service or product page on your website. And the best way to actually rank for this, and this is how I've ranked my own sites for things like B2B SEO company, B2B SaaS SEO, and all these competitive terms, is first work out what a prospect searches for when they have high intent for your offer. Quite literally type it into Google, check what top 3 organic non-paid pages are ranking. Are they an article? Are they a product page? Are they a service page? This will tell you what the intent is and the type of content that you need to create. Review those top 3 organic pages that are ranking for that target keyword. See how they're formulated. So let's say we were looking for something like best CRM for accountants. That might be a listicle. So that page, the top number 1 ranking for that page is probably a list of like 10 accountancy CRM providers. So that tells you that, let's say someone did a top 10 and that was ranking top. We need to do a more comprehensive article. It needs to be more detailed. It needs to give better tips, better insights, and probably be a bit longer form. So we could do the top 15. We position our offer as number 1. We have a clear write-up, call to action, and we put all the others there. So a lot of ranking on Google is understanding what prospects are searching for when they're in market now, reviewing what's ranking already, and then writing content that one-ups it from every angle. And there's a framework that Google dropped out a while ago called EEAT, Experience, Expertise, Authority, Trust. Google wants to see hands-on experience, expertise, authority, and trust in your articles. And that means that whoever's putting together the content needs to understand the market, understand the problems that your prospects face, their motivations, their goals, and then back that up with evidence, whether that's testimonials, reviews, social proof. But a lot of ranking on Google is just reviewing what ranks well now and looking for angles that you can one-up it and beat it. And I do simplify SEO a lot, but that is a huge mistake that I see. People try and write these articles for questions or high-level top funnel terms when they're missing out on kind of people ready to buy now because they're not focusing on those keywords that people search when they're ready to buy now. And you really want to exhaust that first. Build all those pages out on your website and then start working up the funnel and then start considering blog articles. So I don't know if that answers your question. It was a bit of a different take.
No, it does. And that's a great point, and exactly what we do in our business. We've got like our core 20 keywords that we think people are searching for. Those are service pages on our website. A lot of them rank really well, but we also maintain a blog and use that exact same tactic. I think Neil Patel calls it tower articles, putting in your long tail keywords, seeing what the top 3 articles are, and then writing a bigger, longer, better one that's going to stand out in that search term. And works really well. I guess one of our struggles is converting all of that cold traffic who are just finding us through these articles into leads, because they're there to read a blog article. They're not there to book a call. So we've got spinny wheels and stuff that show up on that blog post. Is there any secret or tool that you use to convert people that are there to read your blog into leads that give you their email address and are ready to book a call?
Yeah, you raised a good point, right? And it's like colder traffic. So if someone's doing more of an informative search, like, I don't know, how to do something or best ways to do something or what to look for in an industry, then you're exactly right. They're looking for information. So now on that article page, you don't want to force them to book a demo or have spamming call to actions to book a call. You want to probably nurture them and guide them to a useful resource that's relevant to that article. So whether that is some kind of guide, a playbook, a YouTube video that's specific that they can carry on and get, maybe an email series that's relevant to the specific topic that they've landed on. So then you can nurture them over time. They can maybe give you email in exchange for something that's helpful and going to give them practical tips, etc. Or the other players that you have a retargeting pixel, whether that's LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, and then you again serve them useful ads over time until they're ready to. They're going to hop on your site a few more times and speak to sales. So that's what you can do with those more informative kind of based articles, I'd say.
Great answer is, yeah, what you just said, giving them a lead magnet related to the article that they're reading. If you're there looking for, top 10 CRMs for accountants, like the example you mentioned earlier, and they see a pop-up, download this guide on how to get the top CRM for accountants for free. And chances are they're going to opt in for that because they want something related to the information that they're reading. Great advice there. Sam, I'd love to spend a little bit of time, if you're willing, to give any ninja tactics that you use to recapture that attention on a website. Retargeting ads is one that you just mentioned. Where are you running retargeting ads? And then is there anything else that you're doing that other people might want to know about? And then I'll share one that we just started doing that's really cool.
Yeah, sure. And I'm by no means a retargeting expert, because my core competency really is around websites and SEO. But in terms of retargeting, I mean, because I'm B2B, it makes sense that if we're running retargeting campaigns, that these prospects are on LinkedIn, especially when we go higher ticket. So we know a lot of the execs that are going to be flicking on our site, whether they found us from SEO, from the podcast, from YouTube, whatever. They're probably going to check out our site, click on a few pages, then go on LinkedIn. So if you're running LinkedIn targeting ads, then you probably want to make sure that it's fine-tuned. So you're not just retargeting any traffic, but you may be filtering that out to the specific ICP, ideal client profile, that you want to hang out, want to actually do business with. So whether that is certain sectors, certain job roles, job titles, whether that's, I don't know, VP of marketing, demand generation manager, CEO, perhaps if you work with kind of smaller businesses where you're typically talking to the founders and CEOs. So making sure that if you are running a retargeting play, that it's going to the right demographics and the right job titles and so on. And then likewise, the content that you serve them on somewhere like LinkedIn is actually kind of practical, helpful, and also leveled out depending on where they're at. So if they've been checking out your pricing page, then there's the time to serve them things like testimonial videos and social proof and all that good stuff, and eventually prompt them to book a call. Whereas if they've only been on your website once, you might want to serve them more helpful tips and ideas and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm by no means an expert on retargeting, but another play is LinkedIn have recently rolled out something called thought leader ads. Don't know if you've used those at all, Jay.
So you can essentially, what are thought leader ads?
Yeah, so I know a lot about this because my friend Justin Rowe at Impactable is like a LinkedIn ads guru with his team. And LinkedIn thought leader ads basically essentially allow you to boost a personal profile post on LinkedIn to either, I don't know, retargeted website traffic or specific audience that you want to go after. So if you've got, like in my case, I hang out a lot on LinkedIn. I post probably twice a day, actionable SEO, website tips, which can get anywhere from, I don't know, 1,000 views to 10K views per post. But that's only going to mostly my audience or people who engage with my posts, their audience. Whereas with thought leader ads, you can take any of your previous posts and then send those to certain audiences that you want to hit in certain sectors, job titles, etc., or retarget your personal posts to certain demographics you want to go after or visitors to your website. So before, until recently, you could only do that with company page views with your own company, right? Whereas now you can do it from a personal. And the reason that that's so much more powerful is because obviously people trust people directly as opposed to a company or a logo.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try that. Some retargeting stuff that's working well for us, LinkedIn messaging ads. So you visit our website, we pixel you with the LinkedIn tracker, and the next day we send you a sponsored message right there in your LinkedIn messaging inbox. Those convert really well for us. We retarget Facebook, Instagram, of course, a lot of people are there. Twitter retargeting, actually working quite well. Something that we're doing that's really cool that I just implemented in the last 30 days that I haven't really talked about publicly or taught yet. It's called Pearl Diver. They de-anonymize our website visitors. So they've got a massive database of IP addresses and device IDs, and they match those to people's names, emails, LinkedIn accounts. So Sam, if you're visiting my website for the third time in a week, Pearl Diver will tell me, and now I can tell my sales team to go reach out to you by name, phone number, email. But even if you're getting a lot of website traffic, B2B, this is a way to email all of that website traffic when you're just visiting somebody's website. It can be really powerful. It's booking us a lot of calls because not everyone takes action when you're on their site. Booking a call is a commitment that people usually aren't ready to make. But if you do that one-to-one email, chances are you're going to be able to convince them to take some action and nudge them in the right direction.
Yeah, it's like you say. I think there's a stat that 97 or 98% of your B2B website traffic won't convert. So that's why everything comes back to really that research and doing that constant feedback loop. So you can never really talk to your prospects or customers enough. If you can constantly refresh your idea on what challenges they're facing, what they care about, what their jobs to be done are, what they want to learn, what they want to see, what they want to take action on. That way you can constantly evolve, whether it is your landing pages, your website, your ads, to make sure the messaging, the content, and more is hitting home with them. It's like I said, it's just like anything in marketing. Your website is never the finished article. So if you're constantly getting that feedback from the people that are potentially going to buy your stuff and making sure it hits home with them, then you're going to be on the right track.
Totally agree. It's all about staying top of mind and continuing to get better and improve. Sam, for those listening that are like, this sounds really complicated and I just want someone to come build a website for me and handle my SEO. Where do you suggest that they start? And Sam, what kind of resources and services do you guys offer in this area?
Yeah, I appreciate it. So you can check out my LinkedIn. Like I say, I post tips every day around websites and SEO. Just search Sam Dunning. I've got a bunch of free playbooks. You can check out the podcast. We've got tons of solo episodes on best practices for websites and SEO. So if you check out Business Growth Show or search Sam Dunning on YouTube, or lastly, if you you think it all sounds like too much hassle and work and you just want us to deliver it for you, head over to samdunning.org and you can book a call with my team.
All right. Thank you, brother. And I will link all of that down in the show notes. So if you're on YouTube, check out the description. If you're on podcast, go down there and check that out as well. Sam runs an awesome podcast. So if you're not already subscribed to that podcast, definitely go check that out. I think you might see an episode of someone you recognize on there as well. And Sam, I appreciate you spending some time with me talking about websites. I think the audience is going to get a lot of value out of this, especially if you're generating a bunch of awareness and nothing's happening. I think this is going to help a lot of people. So, Sam, thanks again. I know we're probably going to have many more interactions like this, so I look forward to it, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.